And we're live. We'll wait for someone to come in. This is the second Paranormal Wildcard Chat. Just making sure I got some of this stuff ready out here. It'll be a little different for me tonight. This is a whole different setup. Using a new phone, trying it out. Hopefully I can be heard. Still good video quality. Only a few apps running in the background. Set. Hey Nightshade, welcome. You're the first one on my live stream with a new phone. Not an expensive one, but everything is new on it. Microphones, cameras. I just want to test this one out, see how well it does. Let me get over here. Okay, make sure I got this volume down. So hopefully this will help me read some chat a little bit better. Hey Bridget, welcome. I went out and got the second phone today, so I can look down here and I mute it. I can see more of the chat than with this one because this is a smaller phone, and even with my glasses it's a bitch to read. So how's everybody doing tonight? I got some news updates. Hey Boomer, welcome. I got some updates. I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. I did some checking on ley lines. I don't know how accurate the source is. I found one and it shows that there is a ley line going through this town here, but it really doesn't. It's just a line, and there's a disclaimer of does not show the exact width. So I don't know how wide it is. I don't know the detailed breakdown. It's like here's this town and here's a little dot and here's a ley line. But something else I noticed is a little bit lower than here. There's a star over a town where I used to live, and it looks like there is the intersection of 3 ley lines in that town. And I can tell you when I was there, that was a weird little town. Probably a month ago, maybe a little over, there was 2 plane crashes at a real small airport, and it was under strange circumstances. Both pilots reported that it was almost like there was a force pulling the plane down, and the other one said it was like pulling it off to the side. So those 2 crashes within a week. And this is a small airport. I think the town population is, I don't know, maybe like 30,000, 35,000. So it's not real big. But what I'd like to do is probably this weekend, go there and check out the cemeteries, which is good news. But the bad news is, I talked to Ray the Fam this morning, and his work schedule got changed for the weekend, so we had to move Fresno Flats from Sunday to Saturday. And then when he called up a little bit later to inform the caretaker of the property, we found out that there's going to be a swap meet up Saturday. Can I get to the crash site? I'm not sure what exactly where. I mean, I can get up to the airport, but I'm not sure if they're going to let me walk around with the camera without stopping me and questioning me why I'm recording an airport. They're the fire planes that drop the chemical in the mountains when there's mountain fires. They're stationed there, so it's going to be a little bit more beefed up security. But there's a video on Secure Team 10 about this. This was probably 3 weeks ago, about the crashes, and that's how I found out. But Porterville, yeah, it's a weird little town. But with the 3 ley lines, I just wonder what the cemeteries, because I haven't been to the Porterville Cemetery yet. And actually, there are 2 cemeteries. There's a big cemetery, and then if you drive out of the way out into the country, there's another cemetery. And I'm trying to remember where that second cemetery is. A ley line, those are basically like earth energy lines. A lot of the old, like some of the Roman roads and stuff, they were built along ley lines. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, was that the pyramids of Giza? I mean, they may be on a ley line, but there was a lot of like religious sites and ceremonial sites built on ley lines, and they're spelled L-E-Y. Yeah. Well, there was 2 crash sites, but it was at one airport. It wasn't really serious damage. Both pilots survived. Yeah, the one article I looked up, I had to Google it, and there was several articles, but that's what they got into talking about, energy lines. And I actually have to get the book because they were talking about energy coming in to the earth and energy going out of the earth. Am I still too quiet? Do I need to talk louder? And how's the picture on this? Is this alright? Because it looks a little bit grainy here, but let me look over here. Okay, it looks grainy on this phone. It's weird looking at myself with a delay. Yeah, it looks on my other phone. It looks a little bit lighter. So, Belinda, welcome. Craig, welcome. You're just coming in. got my other. This is the phone I used to use. Now I'm just kind of using it for helping me with the chat. I'll pause the video and just watch the chat as it goes along. The live chat. Okay. Oh, I love mine. It's awesome sauce. Especially when you get out somewhere and you start using it and you hear your own name come across it. So since this is wild card and it's interactive, is there a subject someone wants to talk about? You want to continue on ley lines or input anything? Because that's what this wild card's all about. I'll do this. There we go. Okay, I don't know Marie, but I mean, winning crystals is always good. I went to the crystal barn today and got some more sage because the bundle I had is almost gone. Usually after I have one of my sessions out here or I come home from doing a location, I'll just light the whole bundle and let it fog the apartment up. Moonstone. What does that look like? I mean, I don't have mine. But I'm not going to do a spirit box. If I decide to break it out, then I'll have to run in. The area behind the building, all what I did is, like I said, I was going to do the session. It was just going to be trying to get the child spirits here, but we had a whole bunch more coming in. I was actually Belinda heard her daughter, and Carla heard her grandson. So we had actually a bunch of them that normally come across Francis and visit Danny had came here, and that blew me away. I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought I was just going to make contact with the boy and girl spirit that had been seen here in this area by a couple different people, and then you had picked up on. So it was like when I was looking at the chat and I actually seen him was like coming through, and Cardiac was saying this was coming through and that was coming through. And I was totally caught off guard. Oh, it's white. Well, the moonstone's white. Is it like a marbled? No, Carla, Shot Girl, her grandson. I was over close to the tree. There's the building. There was a workbench, and that's where I was set up. I had like a bobblehead. No coyotes, but the neighbors to the south have 2 dogs. I've got a lot of like bird movement in trees right now. Starting to cool down. Not that I recall. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't remember anybody by the name of Carla coming through. It was just one Carla shot girl in chat. But there was a lot of talk coming through the box. Yeah, because we started with the kids, and then there was like, as soon as they started coming through, come on down. Oh, Clara. Oh, okay, Clara. I said this is a new phone, and it's smaller. That's a lot smaller than what the other one is. So my chat is text is even smaller. Clara. Oh, I'd have to go back and listen, Boomer. I haven't really gone that in depth because I was trying to finish up. Where's my Irish accent? Well, California kidnapped it and is holding it for ransom. Oh, Thin Lizzie's from Ireland? Okay. Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen. I was trying to get another video out, and then, like I said, everything shifted, so I started charging everything up, and I didn't even pull up another video to start working on. But I know Cardiac went through and got a bunch of EVPs, but it just might have been relevant answers because it was just, it seemed like I was getting bombarded that night. There we go. Clara. Let me check. Let me check with the landlord's daughter, see if was a family member that had that name here. Because it does kind of sound familiar, but I'm really not pulling a lot off. I don't know if it's somebody who owns or owned the property. Like I say, I'm not sure at all who came through the box that night because I couldn't hear it. It was just I was holding the spirit box up, trying to get it to get some good audio off of it. Because there's right now there's let's see, well, the daughter of the landlord is like the third generation of the owner this time. Those people owned the property before. But I'm not, when you mentioned it, when it was Carla, I wasn't getting it. But when he said, like Clara, then yeah, something sounds familiar about that. I just can't place it. Hey Cheryl, welcome. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to be doing another live stream, at least one this weekend. But I'm not sure where it's going to be at yet. It's just kind of plans were canceled and changed around, so I'm going to adapt, improvise, and overcome. Make it work. Oh, okay, thank you. But that's something else, Boomer, I'd have to check into, because I was trying to, like I say, get the other video, I was trying to check into ley lines to try to get a little more insight on where the energy is coming from here. Because I know some of it's stationary, and it's the reading is stationary, and the power is fairly constant. So I don't think it's those are spirits unless they're somehow anchored in that one spot permanently forever. There's got to be another cause for that energy. It could be just random earth energy, or it could be, like a conscious spirit. Hey, old hippie, welcome. You just woke up. I just got off work a little bit ago. M City, welcome. Good to see everybody here. I was waiting to see if Nalisha shows up. I reminded her, I think it was yesterday. She was on the stream. I reminded her. I'd like to get more on her inside of the Indigo children. Oh, you haven't slept much? So does anybody know anything about ley lines that they could add? Information they could share with us? This is the chart I looked at. Oh, it's a map, not really a chart. Was had 3 ley lines, and at Porterville's about 30 miles south. That's why I wanted to check it out, because 2 of them were blue and 1 of them was black. So what's up with the black one? Yeah, I just started, old hippie. You got a topic you want to bring up? Yeah, I checked out, ran some maps, and it looks like it almost looks like a wagon wheel up around the Bay Area, up north. And there's all kinds of lines. So I don't know if there may be some of the the fault lines. That's it, the fault lines. Do they have something to do with ley lines? Are they close, or are they, like overlapping right on top of each other? The map I saw wasn't really, like I said earlier, I had a disclaimer that they're just there to show the approximate area, and width would vary. And then of course there'd be some little curly cues and squiggly lines coming, ley lines coming off of the main ones. Yeah, it's kind of where it started. They noticed that it's like what I was saying, Roman roads. So even the Romans knew about it, apparently. Some of the Roman roads, the ancient temples going back thousands of years, they noticed where lined up on some of these ley lines, and they go all around the world. I'm trying to remember, I think something like the pyramids of Giza, the 3 pyramids. Maybe on some of them, or 1 or 2 of them. Places like Stonehenge and Woodhenge had ley lines running through them. But I really didn't get a chance to read that deep into the article, because the article was just kind of just like a rough overview of an author that wrote a book, so it's just going to be a rough overview to kind of give you a little teaser taste. So there wasn't a whole lot of detail, and I was hoping I could like find the town and actually break down into a map of like the streets and everything. But yeah, it wasn't going to happen. I mean, it was, let's see what I used. The search term I used was ley lines in California. But of course, there was a lot of worldwide stuff in the same article popping up. Oh yeah, please, yeah, share this on social media, because I mean, it's live now. I'm going to keep the chat. So even if somebody wants to come in tomorrow morning, they can watch and see everything that we discussed. Oh yeah, the like button's always, yeah, that's always appreciated. Hey John, welcome. Yeah, we were just talking about ley lines here in California. That's what I was trying to figure out, why we have so much energy here. Okay, fine. Here we go. We got some chat going here. So is there a topic anybody would like to talk about? Something you know about you could share? This is Wild Card. So it's anything paranormal. If you want to talk about Chupacabra, we'll do it. Wolfman, werewolf, skunk ape, whatever. Hey, I believe in ghosts. Welcome. Evie Peace. And I'm doing this over a new phone. So I'm hoping that everybody can hear me better. Because I know there's, it showed, the little instruction showed a microphone on each end. And this one has less of a cover than my other one, so. Hey, Diane G, welcome. But the one thing about this is that smaller phone is probably maybe 70% of the size of the other one. We got 14 people in the chat now. That's always a good thing. So, Michael, you had anything unusual happen around where you're at? John, you have any stories to share? I ever feel anything around me, around here, I know there is. And when I first moved in, yeah, I could feel. I know there is now. There's probably a few around me watching from behind. But I don't really try to go into how many and oh, the Mothman. Now I've heard about that. I was I was over in New Jersey for a while when I did my advanced training. I don't know. That was advanced training was in Virginia, basic. So we really didn't get out a whole lot, but I heard about it. I never really saw anything. It was mostly the inside of a barracks. Too dang tired to share much. Oh, come on, old hippie. You're all what, 40, 45? Should be full of energy. I was. You were on. Don't fade out on me. Okay. HSFL Paranormal panel, and suddenly you woke up and realized it was just a dream. Well, if you were awake a couple nights ago, what night was that? I think it was Wednesday night. Wednesday night, John had a panel. You could have been on there then. Hey, Raymond. Sears, yeah, that's been happening for a long time. And I just opening and closing by themselves. It was on a live stream, and so it should still be up. Which one was it? Yeah, Sears has been downsizing for quite a while. They sold off. Well, they've been doing real crappy. Their Craftsman tool line, they sold that off. I'm not sure who bought it. They sold that line off. In the bigger towns, you'll still have some stores, but it's kind of like going back to where it was just how it was originally. You just have a catalog showroom and not a lot of inventory. The one in Porterville was like probably just a little bit, maybe like a square feet, and that was the entire store. Everything else was you had to order. They'd order it for you. Not 45, closer to 16. Is that? Oh, 60. Okay. That's still a spring chicken. The wrong side of 60. How can you be on the wrong side of 60? Yeah, he says that about everyone. Well, you got to remember too. I've never seen a picture. I've never talked to her face to face. And the picture that she does have, she looks like she's like 17, 17 or 20. Yeah, you got to do is tell John, and he'll work with you. Lord knows he sent me enough links for me bouncing around trying to click on this and click on that. It's on the After Dark. Number 4. Okay, that's the After Dark that's the stories, right, John? And he still dreams about it. I'll tell you, way far from you. I think my youngest is like, let's see, your birthday's coming up. She's going to be 30 this year. Okay, while you sleep. Yeah, that's that one that you described as paranormal gum that stuck to the bottom of your shoe. And I did get a lead on I went to it's called the Crystal Barn, and that's where you go to get a lot of the crystals and sage. I was there this morning, and the lady gave me a lead on another cemetery that I didn't even know existed. She said it was pretty active, so I got to go. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll go do a video there. I kind of like to get to Porterville and see if there's anything unusual about that 3 ley line intersection there. I gotta go back here. I'm missing something. Okay. So it has glowing red eyes and the absence of anything light driven. Okay. I don't know what that. Oh, look. Okay, now smudged your house. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Looks like I'm all cut up now. Yeah, that's a real good idea. I never even started using it in the house. I flat refused to. Even when I was trying to like get used to the white noise and stuff, I just do it out here. So are the microphone, little built-in mics on this phone working better? Can you hear me better? Or do I need to talk louder? Man, oh, this is bad. Even the One thing I really don't like about this is the chat. Is the text is so damn small. Still out of focus. So I gotta get it close to read, and then it gets fuzzy. Oh, Tippy, so what you're saying is like if they expect a demon, they're gonna experience a demon? I can't say I've had anybody whispering in my ear, but yeah. I'm not going there. I kind of scan the place, but I burn a lot of sage. It's like, I mean, a lot of sage. I know some people may do it once a week. It's like, no, man, I'm in there like probably every other night. I'll light the sage and I'll just let it burn for 20, 30 minutes. That's something I haven't really felt anything evil. I mean, okay, let's wait a second here. Ambulance. I mean, I have felt evil before, but that was a long time ago. And what was going on is I had a friend and his wife. Well, there's a howling dog now. I don't know. Maybe that's what. Maybe that's what you heard earlier, Boomer, and I didn't notice it. But they were being tormented by something evil, and myself and another friend were sending them like some of our psychic energy to battle this thing. And one night, I was going through the house and I was closing everything up, and I heard something moving in the garage. And I thought maybe somebody was in there, but it was like the doors were all locked from the inside. The two doors, the big door and then the side door, was all locked. And then the gate that led to the side door was locked too. But I heard somebody in there, and I reached for the doorknob, and I got this feeling, it's like, don't do it. That'll be, if I open that door, and that's the feeling I got, if I open that door and turn on the light, that's going to be the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. So I listened, and I just let it go. But that's where it was trying to come, and it was trying to intimidate me and the other guy that was sending our energy to him, trying to intimidate us to get us to back away, but it didn't work. Have I ever seen a spirit? Yeah. I've seen a full-blown shadow person, and I've seen one here probably a week ago. I was getting ready to come out, and I don't know if you can see behind me. That was kind of angle it. You see that garbage can right there? I was looking out my door, and it was like an old lady with short salt and pepper hair, and it was a little bit curly, and she was walking right in front of that trash can, and she only took 2 steps, and then when she got to the edge of the building, she was gone. There was another one when I worked up at the reservation. We were at it was off the reservation, but the tribe had bought the property. And what happened is there was a man, a woman, and a little girl all living there on that property. And what happened is the dad was taking his daughter to school one day, and there was a drunk driver in a big 4-wheel drive, and they hit head on, and the 4-wheel drive just rolled right over the top of the car and killed them both instantly. And the lady, she eventually sold the property, but we'd have to go there and check it out to make sure nobody was in there or no vandalism. And people had heard the upstairs bedroom door, like when they'd go in sometimes to check at night, they'd hear the door slam, and they would skedaddle. But I had to go there. The sun was up one day, and I went with another officer, and we checked it out. Everything was clear, and we were standing outside having a cigarette. I still smoked at that time, having a cigarette, and I looked up, and between the garage and the kitchen, there was like a laundry room that joined the two, and there was a man standing in the window, and he was looking out, watching us. And I was just like, wait a minute. I looked and I could see him, but I could still see part of the wall behind him. So I just started staring at him, and then it was like when we made eye contact, he stepped back, turned to the left, and started to walk away. And as he was stepping back and turning to walk away, he just completely vanished. It's like he just faded away. So you get caught up on the chat. Never sleep with your feet hanging out. Hanging out of what? I mean, like hanging over the edge of the mattress? Yeah, something like that happened to me, John. It would all depend on how tired I was. And like even if it like something like creeped me out, if I'm really tired and I know I got to do something in the morning, I'm just gonna say screw it and go back to sleep. I just may use some colorful language, but yeah, I'd go back to sleep. Oh, a part of my feet dangle over, but I can't help that. I sleep flat on my stomach. So naturally they're going to hang over a little bit. Except in the wintertime, I'll sleep on my left side and kind of curl up. Get under one of the fleece blankets. So I think that's what they are, fleece. They're a real soft material. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. Belinda, I got all kinds of crap under my bed. There's no room for anything to reach out. I got some of my collectibles and maybe a rifle or two, but there's not room for anything to reach out from underneath it. Does it get cold where I'm at? Yeah. I mean, just because it's California doesn't mean it's always warm and sunny. Here in the valley, the fog will get so bad that, and it's so weird, and John can back this up, because I'm sure he's been through the valley, the Thule fog. You can sit there and you can look and you can see 200 yards no problem, and then 3 minutes later you're lucky if you can see halfway across your driveway. Sounds like a little puppy dog is getting its butt kicked. Yeah, there's like overall maybe 6 inches, if that, 4 inches. Yeah, the Thule fog is like, and as a matter of fact, one time I was coming down from LA, coming back up from LA, and I was going over the Grapevine, and as you started coming back down, you looked and then like you were above the fog, but it was like just you couldn't see squat. The whole valley was just covered. You couldn't see squat. And when you got down just before you went into it, it was only like maybe 50 yards where you went from sunshine to, it looked like it was a full moon. And it's just flat. It's nasty. Yeah, and then sometimes, even when it's not solid, you have to be really, really careful when you're on the road, because you can be driving and you can look up ahead and see there's a signal 3/4 of a mile ahead of you, and you can see the lights there, but there's a car 300 feet in front of you and you can barely make out the tail lights. And it doesn't even have to be 300, it could be 200 feet or 100 feet in front of you. You can barely make out the tail lights of the car, but yet you can see a signal 1/4 of a mile away, no problem. That's how a lot of the accidents happen. They look and it's like, oh, I can see the signal is way down there, and they just kick it up to 70 miles an hour, and then they have half a second to react before they slam into the back of a car. Oh, Paul, you heading out? It's almost 3:30. Means it's only 12:30 here. Actually, now that I've got 12:26. Okay. Well, you have a good night, Paul, and you stay safe. I hear there's another storm building out the way, but it's not going to be strong. It's just going to be big and wide. We got the big one coming with its sight set on, I think it's Arizona. About 200 miles inland. Okay. Well, I think still watch out, because 200 miles ain't squat. I think the video I seen where it was just announcing it, they were talking, it was like 1,200 miles across. So I'm not sure which way it's going to head, though. It's just starting to form. So as long as it's really big, that wide, if it's 1,200, then that's going to be dispersing all that energy out quite a way, so it shouldn't be too devastating. shoot. Well, almost an hour and Alicia's not here. I was counting on her. I wanted to get some more information on the indigo children she was talking about. Oh, you're headed to Las Vegas? From where? That's not too far from here. It's about a 7-hour drive, 6 hours. Well, it depends on what time you, if you drive in the daytime, it's probably going to be 7 or 8 hours. But I usually, when I would go to Vegas, I'd leave here around 2 a.m. and I could make it in 5 hours. No problem. Well, they got all that sand from the was it Sahara in south from Africa. Well, it's Africa somewhere, and that's been knocking a lot of the power out of some of these storms. Oh, so you're going to? Oh shoot, you're gonna be driving right by me if you're going from Los Angeles to San Francisco. You're gonna be driving right by where I live, Belinda. At least honk and wave as you pass. Okay, well, you sleep, old hippie. And I'm going to be going live again this weekend. I'm just not, come on now, I'm just not sure of the exact time. I don't know if I'm going to do it Saturday, tomorrow afternoon or Sunday afternoon and do anything tomorrow night. It all depends on how I'm feeling. Why in the hell does this keep coming up? And I know it's got to be a YouTube thing because this is a different phone. Oh, you're in New York? Oh, okay. So that means you're going to fly on a plane. Damn. That's how Carla got timed out that one night. Keeps popping up. Does anyone have anything they'd like to discuss before I go ahead and close this down? Keep it short and sweet. So I want to try to keep these between 1 hour and 90 minutes. So if somebody wants to come and review it, they're not stuck here for 3 hours watching the rerun. If I do anything here, it's just going to be kind of just a review to document, see if there's anything changed. Do I have grandkids? Yeah, I got 2. One's going to be 4, and the other's going to be 6. But they're not here in the area. They're somewhere off in Nevada, kind of between Nevada and Arizona, that area in there. I don't know. I haven't seen them in. It's been a couple years, but they weren't big. They were still too young to really go out in this area. They weren't even here for Halloween. It was February through May, a couple years ago. Okay, I guess what I'm going to do is go ahead and wind this one down. Eventually, what I plan on doing is, until I can get where I know my finances a little bit better, so I don't want to commit myself to a 1-year contract with home internet. If I'm going to be cut back to 24 hours a week, I won't be able to afford that. And actually set some panels up with different guests to come on. But until then, it's just going to be kind of like, what do you want to talk about? I'll throw out a few ideas. We can see if anybody's interested. So if you haven't already, go ahead and smash the button. And I'll be back sometime either tomorrow afternoon, evening, or Sunday. Just keep an eye out. Make sure you have the alert or the notification bell. And keep an eye out. I appreciate everybody for coming in, participating in the chat. Good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're at. Sleep well, and until next time, be safe.